Okay, what makes you think that? I mean, we're down 40%. People are saying, the speculators have come into the market. This is now a trader's market, and we could see $40 for West Texas in the future.
Well, I think that's definitely possible, but I think that there's been obviously a lot of blood in the streets in terms of the price, and I think that the demand outlook has not really changed that much. But I do think we're oversupplied by about 2 million barrels right now.
And where's that oversupply going to hurt the most? Is it going to hurt the Venezuelans, the Brazilians, those on the fiscal back path?
Yeah, well, I think that's what's shaping up right now is kind of a battle royale between the U.S. shale producers and OPEC, and I think it's a case of who's going to blink first. And I think OPEC, with deciding not to change their production quotas, is betting on the U.S. And I think a lot of the U.S. producers, particularly Harold Hamm with Continental and others, are thinking that they can reduce the cost to produce shale and fight back, and that OPEC will have to blink eventually, as countries like Nigeria and Venezuela, need the higher price to fund their operating budgets for their countries.
Well, Canary operates in North Dakota, Ohio, Texas, and you work with some of the shale players. So are you concerned, Dan, from the Canary perspective, that we do have these smaller shale producers going under because of the dwindling oil price?
Yeah, well, first of all, I don't think anyone's going under, and we're not predicting that or seeing that or thinking about that right now. What we are thinking about is that we're going to have margin pressure in Q1, Q2 next year. I also think that we're going to see a lot of pricing pressure, but we are not seeing any activity level decreases right now. Nor are we hearing about any decrease in drilling activity right now. The focus is more on pricing for the service company products and services.
Right. Are costs coming down, though, Dan, in this space? I mean, people talk about at a certain point it becomes non-viable for a lot of fracking activity compared to a plunging petroleum price. Are the shale producers able to find a lower and lower price point that they at which it makes sense economically?
Yes, well, I think since 2012, the lift costs have fallen in the shale plays in the U.S. have fallen about $30 a barrel, based on our statistics and our numbers. So I think that every quarter that goes by, every year that goes by, I think the U.S. producers are getting better and more economical and are sharpening the pencil, so to speak, with the price, to drill a well falling. And so I think that's going to hopefully help the U.S. producers stay competitive in the worldwide oil market, given the 40% drop in the price of oil.
Dan, we had the FT running a front page article this weekend saying $100 billion in oil and gas drilling investment is going to be shelved because of the dramatic declines we've seen in the oil price. What does that mean for a company like Canary?
Well, I think the first projects to go are going to be the deepwater and ultra deepwater offshore wells, followed by some of the tar sand stuff in Canada. I think if you start seeing a lot of cutbacks from the medium and smaller producers, U.S. onshore, that would definitely impact Canary. As I said before, right now what we're seeing is maybe some pricing pressure, maybe some margin erosion for folks like Schlumberger, Halliburton, and us at Canary. But I think that we are not seeing, activity level pullback yet.
Dan, it's been a year of very tumultuous debate over national oil security, and Mr. Obama, of course, has stood fast against the Keystone XL that missed by one vote in the Senate. But realistically, U.S. policy when it comes to oil, I mean, it's been in place for heaven's sake since Jimmy Carter was in office. I mean, yeah, there's so many parts of the world that are crying for oil that are not nasty to the U.S. in security terms. Why doesn't the U.S. change that 40-year-old policy?
The oil export ban, yeah, I think it's an outdated relic from a forgotten time period. And I think that it will change in the next Congress. That's an issue that we've worked hard on at Canary, the oil export ban. And we've been in touch with Speaker Boehner's office and several people on the Capitol Hill. And the Republican caucus is actually going to have a meeting about it coming up next week. And I think that you will see changes to that in the next Congress.